And then there were 4 here as we break into the semifinals of the PGL Quake Champions Open. We get underway with our first one. As you saw on your screen, it's going to be Clawz up against Rapha, joined here on the desk by Zoot and Flea. And guys, we've already had some ridiculous matches so far, and we're going to have a hell of a heavy-hitting match now.
Absolutely, and this might just be the biggest clash of playstyles we've seen in quite a while. Clawz, super aggressive, Rapha, very methodical and very slow-paced at times when he needs to be. So this might just be an absolute clash of styles.
I know that Clawz is trying to defend his status as the best player in the world, self-proclaimed, and this is definitely one of the hurdles you've got to overcome it in order to really try hold any truth to that.
So I got to ask you, Zoot, how does it feel to be consistently wrong about your predictions? Because Rapha's now in the top 4. You didn't even have him making top 8.
I now have him top 1.
Yeah, so you just jinxed him. Thanks. So now we know he's winning this match.
Shane, sorry.
No, but yeah, Rapha's definitely, he said it in the first day when we talked to him that he's getting better as the tournament plays on, and he's definitely doing that here now. We're into the final day, and this is the perfect time as a player to peak at the end of the tournament when everything's on the line.
Well, I think given the scenario here, but I mean, Shane, he's just so incredibly talented in these clutch situations. The guy is so cool-kitted. That's why I'm actually a little bit worried about Clawz, because things can get a little bit more emotional for him in these situations. I don't think he's gone against someone quite as headstrong as Rapha.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that Rapha is extremely difficult to shake up. He's a very consistent, very level player who doesn't let a lot of things get to him, so that might be difficult for Clawz because his aggressive playstyle is really good at getting people to tilt and just completely lose track of what they're doing and what they're supposed to do. And I think that's going to be difficult to do against Rapha.
Yeah, I'm looking forward a lot to seeing actually the type of bans that we're going to be getting between them. I suspect we'll get something with...
I've got predictions.
I think Nyx is going to be banned.
Nyx Visor.
Visor, maybe a Death Knight ban coming out from Clawz. In terms of maps, I'm not sure. I suspect Blood... speak of the devil.
Look at
Why do you ever challenge me when it comes to predictions?
Because someone told you already.
No. I use the thing that's inside of here, inside of your head. It's called your brain. You should check it out. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, that was brutal.
Well, Rapha did earlier say that Visor was his best champion. He said it right here in the interview. I think that Clawz was definitely taking notes. And he also said that Clawz himself was really powerful on that Nyx. So I don't think that these champion picks are a surprise to many people.
I'm actually looking at the picks as well. I've got to remind myself that we're in best of 5 territory at the moment. So we could have a marathon of a series on our hands, with Vail being the first map picked by Rapha. I think that's what stands out the most to me in this video.
Well, remember, we had Dehang and Rapha happen in Group B yesterday, the first game of the day, and Dehang wanted to play Vail against Rapha. And Rapha is actually the one who chose the map to play against him. So clearly this is a map that he's very confident on. I think that's going to obviously lead way to the picks as well, because it's a map where it's very bursty kind of situations. But when we come into Blood Covenant, I'm worried actually for Clawz here. I don't know what you guys' opinions are about it, because his Nyx is so integral in how he plays that map and how he plays most maps.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is definitely one in Rapha's favor. It's a slower map. It's a map with a lot of angles, lots of opportunities to hide, and I think that will definitely favor Rapha. He can just play his own game and get in Clawz's head, probably.
I'm very curious about the champion picks that they'll have on Blood Covenant, given 2 of these are sort of insta-picks from Clawz, and definitely Visor is a champion that Rapha almost always wants to play. So I'm expecting some Rangers coming out, Galenas. I don't think...
Dooms, maybe?
Yeah, maybe Doom. A Doom, but I'm not thinking Death Knight so much on Blood Covenant, but I think those 3, possibly BJ as well.
Doom is what I would think as well.
And as we obviously move into the series, like you mentioned, Zoot, a best of 5, and we know that Clawz does have more visible signs of frustration, and it's definitely reflected more in his gameplay than Rapha, where he does have maybe a bad play, like the Rapha ledge of Molten Falls now, as it's called. Visually, he is frustrated, but he brushes it off instantly because he knows what's on the line, and he has that clear kind of head. And I think in a best of 5 series where Clawz can maybe get weaker as time goes on, if he gets worn down over some kills where he thought he should have had the frag or not. But in the series, I want to hear some predictions here, because we're at the the pinnacle of the tournament. We're at the semifinals, leading into the grand finals after. Do you guys think this is going to go the full 5? I'll give you like a cop-out. Do you think it's going to go the full 5? You don't have to say who wins.
I think it's going to be 3-1 to Rapha, personally.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That's it. I'll do it.
Damn.
I'm not afraid to put myself out there, Jason. I don't mind being wrong. I'm happy to do
Well,
that.
you're used to it by now, at least.
Yes, I'm very used to it.
I would go ahead and say 3-2 for Rapha as well. I think I'm going to agree with you, and I think that the longer these matches last, the more difficult it gets for Clawz. I think that he excels at short, really fast bursts of maps, and I think that the longer it takes, the more stronger Rapha gets.
What about you, Jason?
I think it's actually going to be 3-2 Clawz.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll be that guy. I'll be the 40 here and just go the other route
That's fine.
with it.
That's
But we have
fine.
picks coming through, guys. So why don't you
Yeah.
walk us through what we have?
Well, we've got Ranger coming out first from Rapha. I kind of expect to see a Ranger last pick from Clawz, but we'll have to find out. Galena is really good just for a setup. In case they want to revert back to sort of a slow control-based style, that's sort of a pivotal aspect of that. Doomslayer is going to be second, and this is where Rapha can weigh up. Do I want to go Galena, or maybe do I want something a bit more aggressive?
Yeah, I think definitely a good pick from Clawz. He experimented with the Galena earlier and against Razy, and it worked so well for him.
Whoa.
So Death Knight on Blood Covenant, not typically a map you would see this champion picked on, because there's so many big open areas where you can't really use your flames that effectively. And Clawz is going for the Ranger instead.
Interesting though, the Death Knight, Rapha's definitely shown he's probably the best in the world with that champion, so I expect him to have very good use of the Flame Strike regardless, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and we do have, as like you mentioned, the Galena before. The Ranger, I personally, for some reason, don't see Clawz synonymous with Ranger. I mean, I can't think of like the last time he's played it off the top of my head or played it to the extent that really surprised a lot of people.
2v2, but it's been a bit of time now since he's had it, although I know he's well rehearsed.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get underway with our first semifinal. It's going to be Zoo, it's going to be Flea, and it's going to be an exciting match.
Thank you very much, Jason. We are about to set foot in Blood Covenant. We have got Myztro's Clawz and Team Liquid's Rapha. We are going to be starting on Rapha's point of view as he actually enters with Death Knight to begin with.
Yeah, leading off with the DK right away as he makes his way over to that Mega Health. Clawz already set up very quickly. He used his orb to get there, so Clawz burned that ability very quickly to try and get that rail off, which he unfortunately missed.
All good not to land too much damage early on. But he doesn't stick around to try and deny anything from Rapha. He's moved some position over. He goes in for the orb close range, dodges most of the Flame Strike damage from that, and does get a position leading towards the heavy. He's done a nail gun. Is he going to be able to protect it from up here? One rail, and now Rapha has got to fear a little bit, trying to get out just as the reload comes in time. What a dodge from Rapha. That was awesome.
Clawz still pushing in, still looking for the damage, but that 100. Oh my god, the combo from Rapha. Instant reversal of the situation. Now Rapha has got the lead. First frag of this series will be going to him, and he scratches out Clawz below. Is he gonna try and do some more damage? Clawz has picked up on him though. There we go. Clawz is going up, but damn that tribal.
What?
45, 45, 45. Rapha, I mentioned this earlier, Zoot. Rapha is so good with like not just putting the tribal in one spot, but like dragging it across with his mouse so that he puts up like a little path.
That was wild though. I don't know how he hit a full 135 on that one. However, Rapha again, sort of a tricky situation, but Clawz is not hanging around even to pick up the heavy armor. So Clawz will remain weak. In fact, I thought he was going to health up or armor up a bit more.
Yeah, doesn't quite have the opportunity yet. Rapha kind of shooting that rail a little bit prematurely. Mega will be his, and now there is a very solid spread on the two major items. This could be an opportunity for Rapha to really establish solid control.
Just from the champion compositions, it feels like Rapha is more prepared to play an aggressive style than Clawz, which is incredibly surprising. We were talking earlier about actually Clawz was showing he can play a slow game, as we caught on Ruins earlier. This full armor stack from Rapha. Make his way back over to Mega Health. That is going to be where Clawz is, but he feels a little bit out of position. Still going to challenge in the end. He's got that Flame Strike on the ready, but the combo once more. Rocket to rail, and that just leaves Blazkowicz left.
And these beautiful combo kills coming out of Rapha, but he kind of missing sight of Clawz right there. He's gonna hear him drop down, and Rapha's still in a good opportunity, good position to punish this. Nope, Clawz is getting out, but now he might not any longer rail. Not even necessary. Will he push in with LG? No, he's going to respect. There's rockets coming out of Clawz and will be backing off.
Hourglass is also taken. Ability back up, not too long. There's the LG. Clawz is a little bit early for this, and the LG. Oh, is it going to take him down?
Oh.
Not quite. That rocket. So close to killing him before he picked up Mega Health, and all of a sudden Clawz has got a health and armor advantage. With 2 minutes left in the round, there's still every possibility he can come back in this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Clawz does have his ability ready. Same thing goes for Rapha, and he's got the heavy armor to his back and plenty of time to make it over to the Mega Health afterwards. So this is a dangerous situation to be in for Rapha. He's eyeing that top armor, waiting for it to be up, hoping to get back up to at least 100, 100 before taking the next fight, but Clawz won't give him that opportunity. Dual LG coming out. Yeah, the pushback as Rapha dropped down, knocked him right back into that bounce pad, sending him flying way back up once more.
And that's going to make him make Clawz feel a little bit better. I think it would have made him shrug a bit earlier when Rapha got that insane first kill. And Rapha going LG on LG. Rapha happened to be up the heavy, but there is another. It's going to be lightning gun to rail, and it looks so smooth from Clawz. It's so damn fast with the switch, and he's got the mega health control. We've got another jump rail, but that's going to be Rapha not quite dying, and Clawz is going to fear a little bit.
Yeah, Clawz got to be careful right now. Heavy still not up for another 10 seconds. I don't know if he even wants to go for this, because we saw what happened to Rapha just a frag ago when he tried to take a heavy without sufficient stack. Clawz doing a decent amount of damage there though, and Rapha down to almost no HP. Clawz can probably rocket jump here. Rapha somehow still peeking for more damage, but the rail doesn't connect.
How's he missing those shots? You'd expect Clawz to hit that every day of the week, and Rapha, he respects Clawz's aim. He doesn't in this scenario though, and that is going to be Clawz making the full comeback in the first round.
I cannot believe that Rapha kept going for these peaks.
Yeah, I mean, that's dangerous. It's almost, I wouldn't call it disrespectful, but he's really playing with fire in those moments. You expect Clawz to be hitting more than 50% of those kind of shots. And there's 3 or 4 in the row that Clawz wasn't hitting. It was like Rapha was daring him to actually land one at last.
Or even just rocket jump up. Clawz had such a stack advantage. Rapha was down to like 15 points of health. If he had rocket jumped up, he could have taken that LG damage and just finished him off. But still, Clawz might not have realized just how low his opponent was. Getting an early fight at the rail. Abilities used by both players. Oh my god, Clawz doesn't get to the health bubble on time, and the final flame tick will finish him off.
Rapha already looking for those hourglasses. Great rail shot from him. Clawz is going to get out of here. He's heading down towards the lightning gun. Rapha not going to cut him off immediately. Well, okay, never mind. Clawz wants to go forward, and he is going to eat dust and flames from that flame strike. That was a poor move from Clawz, but you know what? He's got a chance to make another full comeback.
Yep.
But is lightning going to strike twice?
At least he has the time for it though, because both of those 2 first frags, they took place within the first minute of this round, so there's plenty of time for Clawz to engineer a comeback, but easier said than done, of course, especially against an opponent of Rapha's caliber. Hitting those rails over and over and over again. Clawz does have the heavy tool ball back up, so that's going to help him out quite a bit.
We've got 58% rail at the moment on Clawz. We've got 40 from Rapha. About double the damage done from Clawz as well, so he's been using that weapon incredibly effectively. However, Rapha has been taking significantly more items than Clawz. And look at those shots there. 3 in a row from Rapha. That is going to lock down his first round and quickly bring things 1-1.
Yeah, Clawz perhaps a bit too risky right there. Rapha hitting 1, 2, and then he still just jumps back in for a third at railable HP. Probably shouldn't have done that, but Rapha using those abilities masterfully. His Death Knight is putting out so much damage with those flames. Rapha immediately going for the heavy machine gun, landing a quick 60 damage off spawn on Clawz at spawn right away. In come the rockets. Rapha is actually going to push this. Mega is still up.
Clawz eventually decided, you know what, I don't want to be around here anymore. I think he had the rocket launcher, so he could jump across, pick up the railgun.
Yep.
And surely would have heard Rapha roaming around lower banana.
Rapha now down at the blood pool. He is still missing. That railgun catches Clawz jumping up. Trying to do some defensive rival balance. Nothing much coming out there though.
With the heavy and the mega can make up similar enough times. Who's going to pick which item? Rapha misses his shots, going to fall back a little bit and say, alright mate, you grab that heavy, I'll go for the mega health.
Yeah, both players just retreating to their own corner. Almost no delay between these 2 items. Probably not going to result in a good rotation being set up. Rapha hitting that good opening rocket. He's pushing in relentlessly, doing some decent damage. He's going for the heavy machine gun since he doesn't have that rail still. But Clawz does dish out enough damage to get him to back off. Oh, that rocket still.
Nice little bit of damage from Rapha, however. He's the one who's pretty weak at the moment. Tri-bolt, a little bit of spam, about 40-50 came out of that. Maybe a bit less, in fact. And Heavy's going to be... Is Clawz going to try and trap him? Rapha, he's got to know. He is totally trapped over here. Gets the flame strike out. Looks pretty desperate from him, but he's been able to pick up 25 health. Clawz, if he switched over to the machine gun quickly, he possibly could have secured first blood in round 3.
Yeah, and at this point, Mega Health is actually still up, being delayed around 15 seconds. That's a big gap between these items. Rapha wants those health bubbles, but he's not entirely sure whether or not Clawz might hear him and actually punish him for picking those up. Now he knows it's safe. He heard Clawz up on the bridge. That's his opportunity to move in. And we are 2 minutes into this round, and Rapha still has not been given the opportunity to pick up a railgun. I think that Clawz is still aware of this and might actually try to deny that weapon even longer.
Yeah, so Rapha just wants to set up a small trap. If Clawz were to go through the teleporter, Rapha would certainly profit from that. And as a ranger, Rapha's just preemptively firing those tri-bolts just in order to zone out Clawz a little bit, but there's an important rail. Clawz again is keeping hold of that rail area so well. He's going to drop with a dual wield. Flame Strike comes out, 28 health to go. Rail is going to be bang on.
Yep, and that is so good for Clawz because he was giving Rapha a lot of respect. He catches him from the corner of his eye. Good opening, 100 damage rocket. Clawz rocket jumping down with the chase. Is he going to finish it off with the rail? Oh! Rapha, 31 points of health, getting the insta-give with the orb. Oh my god, Clawz is going to regret putting himself in that position. Is he going to push? He did!
He's got the rockets out. He's trying to land some of them, but the LG is all over him, and Rapha secures that one easily. Looking like Clawz just wanted the revenge frag no matter what it cost. But such a clutch play from Rapha. He knew there was no outs. He had to go head on with the Direwolf. I think Clawz just hoped that the lightning gun would just finish the job fast enough.
Yeah, Clawz, that was definitely an emotional response rather than a rational one.
Oh my god. Rapha, when he's got his back against the wall, he's out of control. He totally turns it around, and Clawz, it looks like he definitely let that round get to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to use the word tilt lightly, but I think that Clawz, after that first half, he was like, oh, he's so close. If I just rush in, I can get him. And then he dies. And the second time, he again is still like, oh, come on, I can finish him off if I'm just fast enough. And Rapha taking beautiful advantage of that.
Whoa.
That LG, though, and he goes flying.
The
Clawz.
dual wield up in the air. He's got the shotgun trying to land
God.
something, but he missed the last shot or two. Rapha just held steady and knew that that mega health stack was certainly going to be of great assistance. Where Clawz spawns, gets himself onto the heavy armor. He's used his orb to pick up rail. He's got to know that he's weak.
Yeah. That's definitely an important thing to keep in mind as well, because when you are using the dual wield, not only do you do double damage, but you also basically drain your ammo twice as fast.
Oh, Rapha just knows that Clawz is desperate to get a refrag on him. He's even landing little trickles of damage here and there, and Rapha's
here we
just
go, Clawz again.
This is just way too simple for Rapha at the moment. He's reading Clawz like a book. He needs to be a bit more creative how he does this. With just one champion left, map 1 could be over already.
This is Clawz. Clawz needs to reset. He's down to his final champion, one more death, and it will be the end for him on Blood Covenant. And Rapha doesn't even need the railgun. Is he even gonna go for it? He's just doing such an excellent job at the heavy machine gun. Might be able to shut it out right here, right now. There come the long-range rockets. Clawz dodging them all, landing a rail in return.
He has picked up more of the resources lately. That Mega was taken. Oh, he spots the totem. He's like, oh, just going to get rid of that. It's a bit troublesome. Totem. He's not going to run into it.
He should have heard the bounce pad though. Yeah, Rapha indeed heard where Clawz would make an appearance, and now he will finally get the railgun as the final weapon that he still needs. Clawz got the top positioning, landing a first rail, but there comes a tri-bolt.
Oh, Totem. Flame Strike is going to miss. Rapha's pretty weak at the moment. There's a rocket jump across looking for the rail follow-up, and Clawz clutches it out. I think, although it's been a bit risky, it seems that he's slowed down a lot from the end of the last round and the start of this. Maybe he can still come back, but he's given himself an uphill battle.
Yeah, he needs to make at least one frag just to equalize it this round. That's a good opening rail. A second one to follow it up. Here we go. That Totem might actually block Rapha coming back into the room.
Ah, that was risky from Rapha.
Oh my god.
These rails that he's hitting at the moment. Only 35 health. One bubble is gone. Gonna find another. Should have time still to get onto the mega health, but he's pushed far too far forward towards the rocket bounce pad, and that allows Rapha to get the turn on him.
Yeah, and now Rapha will pick up mega health. Clawz is oh so low. Rapha is already racing over to that heavy rudder, and he's got a decent amount of stack. He's going to beat Clawz there.
If he put those totems down quick enough, he would have been able to get overstacked. That could really hurt them later on. Wow. But again, it's just these crazy sort of vertical rails, these difficult angles. He's landing it effortlessly.
Yeah, almost managing to catch Rapha right there coming out of the heavy room. At this point, Clawz still has 2 minutes left to put together a comeback to get that other frag on Rapha's Doomslayer. I don't know if he'll be able to. Yeah, he's gonna catch Rapha right here. He needs to put out the damage though. Rapha dropped down below him. Clawz kind of getting a bit of tunnel vision, I think. That's a good opening rocket. This should be it.
Looking for
Why
a
is he
rail
going for
afterwards.
rail?
He's got the totem to heal him up a little bit, but Rapha is hitting some clutch rails again. The mega health is going to be up in about 5 seconds time, and just to update, 57% rail accuracy for Rapha, 58 for Clawz. Oh, 4,000 damage done on that weapon between them.
I am so surprised that Clawz went for rail twice there at the end, because Rapha was so low. LG would have done the job just the same, but of course we can see those stacks. Clawz himself does not, so he probably thought that Rapha was more stacked than he actually was. Heavy is up though. That'll probably be going to Clawz, unless he doesn't realize that it's there waiting for him, that he's just so hungry for blood.
Rapha went up the lightning gun staircase. He's surely heard where Clawz is at the moment. Clawz gets eyes on him.
Yeah, but Heavy is gonna go to Rapha now. Clawz kind of misplaying that item completely. He's got 45 seconds left.
Well, as long as he's keeping a similar stack. Oh, he might get the drop on him. Rockets, the double jump is going to get in his way. And here comes the Berserk. Is he going to finish it with a punch? He needs to hit one more. Oh, he's taken down by the totem. And Clawz is going to survive. 30 seconds to go in this round. He can still come back and tie up the score.
He is low though. He is eyeing that mega health, but it doesn't seem as if Rapha is going to be as bloodthirsty as his opponent. He's gonna let it sit for a little while and just go for Heavy first. Clawz can definitely still bring this back though. He has got, at this point, the weapon advantage. Rapha still missing that railgun. Doesn't even have the heavy machine gun. Oh my god, Clawz, how do you do this?
There's another rail angle possible. He keeps hitting it. That's 3 in a
Switch to
row.
LG.
There's the lightning gun, but he's just lost track of him briefly. Down over Banana. Here's an angle, and he's going to hit it. We are 2 for 2 in the first map. Who is going to be able to get map 1? It is Clawz's pick at the end of the day, so he's certainly gunning for it.
Wow, that end play, look at that. The slow-mo showing exactly how good Clawz is. What a beautiful shot right there. As we are still moving into the final round, this is going to be the deciding round on map 1. Whoever takes this one home will win the first map. And we are on Clawz's point of view, or from the get-go, as he is moving down to get himself onto that lightning.
There it is, trifecta of weaponry in his hands. He's getting just a little bit in the way of Death Knight. Almost playing with fire.
Yep. Slight amount of damage exchange right there. Coming out of Rapha. Rapha is the one being the aggressor right now with that rail. That's gonna shut him down, at least for the time being. Clawz rocket jumping back up. Might be able to trap Rapha here on the mega. One rail hit. Second one. A first one, he's back up.
Oh, he just misses. Didn't realize it was down there. He's going to follow down for another angle. He doesn't quite go for it.
Oh, man.
Just want to let people know Clawz has exceeded 3,200 damage with the railgun alone in this map. That accounts for over half of all the damage he's done.
Earlier we were talking about the Toxic game, and we were like, wow, Toxic did 2k damage with the railgun on this map, but Clawz is just making that seem like nothing at all.
Oh my god, he just keeps on hitting. He's not going to go for the rocket jump on this occasion. Mega health is going to be up. He's going to get a read on him, knows where he's firing from, and hits another rail. Again, it's effortless, but there's 150 collective health and armor for Rapha.
Yeah,
that's trying to buy some space, get some rockets out, get some zoning damage, and just keep Clawz at bay.
Yeah, Clawz is doing a lot of damage, but Rapha somehow is managing to get himself stacked up time and time again, and so far no one has been able to close out that very first frag. Now Clawz has got himself on the heavy. He might want to go over to Mega sooner rather than later, and hitting another rail. Clawz!
This is just stupid at the moment.
Here we go.
Oh, this could hurt a lot.
In come the flames. Oh!
Oh my god, he tries to go for that clutch rail. That would have got the kill, but that flame strike, be wary.
Yeah. That can do so much damage, and at this point, even though Clawz is slowly getting stacked back up, it's definitely Rapha with the advantage for the time being, but that heavy is going to change that. And now Clawz actually still has a good opportunity, but he's stuck here. Oh my god, 17 points of health. Rapha comes through and hits the rail. What is this game?
What a shot from Rapha. Clawz missing that many rails in a row. Just when rail had been so good to him all map long, misses some crucial shots. If he used dual wield, his rate of fire would have increased tremendously. Probably would have been just far more likely to hit something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Heavy will be up. Clawz might be able to get a hold of that. Nobody's taking one rail. Clawz gonna push in. He wants to do the tribal punch
oh my
and
god.
the rail. Oh my god. Clawz, don't do what you did 2 rounds ago. Don't let it get to your head. Don't charge in blindly. Take your time. Rapha heard that pickup, knows exactly where his opponent is. Natmaster, that's a medal you don't see often. Oh my god, Rapha shutting it down. 3-2. He had to work for that one, though.
I think he's glad the nightmare is over. The rail nightmare, that was just a stupid amount of damage that that Clawz was firing out. And it failed him at just the wrong time. This was such a pivotal moment as well. The rocket jump, he knew he had to take advantage of this opportunity. Maybe if the mid-air hit him, it could have affected it. But, I mean, he had his sights set on him. And I just saw the stats for a second. We had 57% rail in the end for both players. But I'm sure we'll see the damage for Clawz is just unreal. Here we go. We can see 3,500 damage with the railgun alone for Clawz, 1,500 for Rapha. I mean, both those rail accuracies are impressive. At 40 of 69. Also,
railgun as well. Rapha's best weapon did more damage with the rail than any other weapon this time around.
They were pretty equal with the other parts of the trifecta. 1.45 for both of them on rockets, 1.45 for both of them on the lightning gun. There was no real tri-bolt use from Clawz, but actually a bit of heavy machine gun we saw from Rapha too. But that is Rapha taking Clawz's map pick, the first one. That means we're moving over to Vail.
That's going to be rough.
So we'll have to find out in a moment what kind of picks we'll be getting. I suspect that Rapha might want to get out of a Keel and a Galena and probably the Death Knight. Actually, yeah, that's it. I'm going to gamble on that.
I was going to say the exact same ones. Keel, so good on this map. So many tight, winding corners where you can use those grenades so effectively. And then, of course, Death Knight, good here as well. And Galena, that central teleporter is so important. So when you can trap that with a totem, you can really, really knock a notch off your opponent's movability.
Yeah, I wonder if Clawz is going to go for a ranger at all. Well, either way, we're going to set ourselves into champion selection in just a second.
Yep.
And here we are.
Let's take a quick look.
All of these are going to be so important. He is going to go for the Death Knight early on. I think this will be mirrored by Rapha.
Yep.
Maybe a Keel as second pick. No, going for the Galena.
Galena.
Mirror, mirror, mirror.
Let's see, Clawz.
So he goes for the ranger, and I think maybe Keel, but he might weigh up some options over here and see what would be good, because that ranger might put him off wanting to use the Keel.
Keel is, of course, a pretty sizable target, slow too, so someone with the die rope can really take advantage of that. There we go. Yeah, mirror, ranger, Galena, and Death Knight on both players.
We've got a little uniform going on. We've got lots of green from Clawz, and I don't know what we call the color. It's like that kind of holographic kind of skin.
Oh yeah, the digital bluish one from Rapha. Yeah, it's a nice one.
But it's good. It's important to have a uniform when you're playing duel.
But
I mean, it isn't. I just like it.
Clawz sticking with the tradition, though, the full bright neon green that we saw so much in Quake Live.
He still needs it for Death Knight, though. He needs to sort that one out. But we'll be stepping into the map right now, guys. It is map 2 here in the semi-final. We are in the top 4 of the PGL Quake Open. His Clawz going to be able to tie things up over here.
We are starting this one off on Clawz. He is spawning as the Death Knight, getting himself mega health. Taking quite a bit of damage from those heavy nails. He's going to loop back around. He will. Still looking for an opportunity to get at Rapha. He wants that railgun, though. We saw how useful it was to him on Blood Covenant. This isn't as rail heavy of a map as the previous one, but still very usable. Almost actually landing that rocket right there from Clawz.
He kind of needed to punish Rapha for taking that weapon. He's let the lightning gun and the rocket launcher go for free. Sure, we're going to get items back up, but now Rapha is thinking, actually, I might be able to poke and prod at him. That rocket was awesome from Clawz, and he needed to hit that. LG not going to knock Rapha off the pedestal, and this now allows Clawz to get onto the rail.
Yeah, Clawz finally getting that weapon that he wants so much. Rapha kind of got him locked in. Oh, nicely done by Rapha. Doesn't even want to pressure or keep him there. He's just content with dropping down, landing not 1 but 2 rails in a row. Clawz is crippled right now. 35 points of health. Is playing it so slowly. He hears the doors being used.
Oh, miscalculation on the flame strike completely. It looked like he was expecting a harsh sort of left turn dodge from Rapha, but it was absolutely wrong. Normally expecting him to hit some of that damage. Clawz, he's gone over to get the lightning gun. He's got rocket launcher. Might head through the teleporter and get the rail. He's hanging around, actually.
No, he doesn't even have to go through the teleporter because, well, his rail was still sitting over there, and that's always nice. Something that you have to keep into mind, that when a player dies, he will drop the weapon that he had out, and this is so bad for Clawz. that is the bounce pad of Doom.
Yeah.
Because when you go up and you get pushed back, there is nowhere to go.
I was hoping that
other
Rapha
than
would
up.
knock him down once more at least.
Yeah.
It goes into the orb, but it's a little bit late on that. Rockets aren't bad at all, and Rapha misses one of the shots. Clawz is only on about 5 points of health. Rapha's got access to most of the important parts of the map.
Yeah, I was clenching for a second right there. Clawz almost jumping into the acid, and that can be dangerous. Oh, good rail. Second one, third one.
Oh my god.
14 points of health. Clawz making it happen. Mega not up for a while though. At least he's got those 2 health levels to look out after. But there comes Rapha using the orb perfectly to get away from the Death Knight Flames. The rail,
Wow.
it's not gonna work again, and Rapha will take home round 1 of map 2.
I think Clawz, I mean, he was really trying to clutch things out with the railgun, but he would have had to hit 2 shots. I loved the dodge that he did with the orb, but he just had to get through the teleporter. Really, I don't even know if there was an escape at that point. Rapha was really good at chasing down the kill early on.
Yeah, and we are starting off map, or round 2 rather, on Rapha, doing a lot of rocket spam, trying to zone his opponent out, and he's actually doing so much damage. Clawz is already down to around 30 points of health, and meanwhile Rapha can just sit back, relax, and get himself that mega health.
There's going to be a light armor taken by Clawz, but he's lost so much of that heavy stack from the beginning.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have his flames ready anymore.
Again, knowing that he's up against Galena, putting some totems on the teleporter exit, that means that just that high point of the map that's so important, he can't really challenge. But again, he's just hitting every single rail shot. He goes up by Tribal, so he's going to be able to get rid of one of those totems, and Mega's going to be up in a second. Oh, he misses a crucial shot. He gets himself to Mega in the end. Is he going to keep challenging? Rapha pretty low. There's the full combo. And Clawz is going to get first blood in round 2.
That one rail out of the teleporter was so crucial from Clawz because it gave Rapha so much speed, so much momentum that he flew past the mega platform and dropped back down. And that allowed Clawz to get the item himself and invent finish of Rapha. There come the flames!
Oh my god, that angle was just ridiculous from him, and he even rocket jumps back over the flames so he can get a safe path to the heavy armor. And Clawz is like, there's so little chance that he's going to hit this star. Oh, it happened.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a perfect read from Rapha. He saw, expected Clawz to go for it. This is bad for Clawz. He's in a bad situation. And Rapha, 11 points of health back against the wall. He doesn't care. He lands the shot, and down goes Clawz. Now Rapha pretty low though.
I think Rapha's already showcasing though that he's just one of the best in the game at using the abilities to this absolute maximum capabilities. It's really, really impressive. That dire orb is going to run out though, and he can't escape from it. Clawz eventually crushes him down, and he has got just the Death Knight to deal with.
Yeah.
Heavy and Mega taken same time, so we've got an equal battle on our hands.
Clawz actually doing a little bit of a Goomba stomp right there, landing on Rapha's head. Fortunately, that doesn't do any damage in this game unless you are scale bearer. But so far, Clawz has got the weapons that he needs. And there comes Rapha, but Clawz has to be so careful of those flames because they can wipe your stack quickly.
With Heavy up soon, Clawz is going to sit on this side of the map and he's going to be happy to share. You take that? Oh, never mind. He does want a bit of a confrontation, looking for rail damage. That nail gun is stripping away all of his stack. He's not going to be able to be overstacked with anything now because of that.
Yeah, that was actually better for Rapha. Rapha definitely did more damage there with those nails than Clawz did with that one rail that he hit. And now Clawz is in solid control of the top portion of the map as Rapha is jumping around downstairs. Mega will be up first. Is Clawz even going to try and make a move to get up there? He's got a pretty good read on where Rapha is at right now. There comes the Tribal. Rapha knew where his opponent was hiding at too.
He's got to wait for Rapha to commit to the Heavy before he can judge whether or not he can go over to the Mega Health. And if Rapha gets it, he'd surely just rocket jump back up to the top. But I think Orb, often you want to use it offensively, but I think in order to just ensure some level of control, it was an important play.
Yeah, solid play by Clawz, because otherwise he might have risked losing out on both major items, and that would have put him...
He could get dropped on now.
Yeah, now
Rapha
notices him, lands a decent rocket. No rails will be exchanged, and Clawz is still in this passive position. Of course, both players are down to their final champion this round, making it more...
Wow, and he just gets blown up. He tries to get himself onto the Heavy. He misses the Dire Orb. Rapha capitalizes on it, and again, he's just so accurate with the Flame Strike. Rapha's definitely been such an important, such an important champion for Rapha, I think, in the playoffs. it's really given him a lot of leads. And now one more round is needed for Rapha to put him on match point map-wise.
Yeah, this is difficult for Clawz. Back against the wall. We have seen him bring back seemingly impossible games before, but will he be able to do it at this crucial moment? Rapha at this point kind of getting choked out of any major weapons, though he's got the railgun, but that's about it. Meanwhile, Clawz has actually decided to spawn on his Galena this time around, perhaps playing a bit more of a defensive game, as Rapha is slowly sneaking into the main portion of the map to get himself that rocket launcher. He's gonna want an LG2 though. Here we go, Rapha coming up. Clawz has got the better positioning to take the item, and Rapha also has that totem to deal with.
There's a nail gun as well from Rapha. Lots of brilliant damage. That direct rocket right at the end. Only 50 health remaining for Clawz. He drops through the teleporter. There's not much in the way of items up there. And again, he's challenging. Just try to reduce some of the control that Rapha has. But in this rotation in 10 seconds time, I think it's going to be Rapha reaping the benefits.
Rapha is just relentless right now. Clawz is just stuck in this portion of the map, and even then Rapha is just peeking and doing the damage, bringing the pain. He's got another totem ready, even that's gonna hurt. Oh, Clawz jumping across, but the LG knockback will push him right back down. Rapha leading in this crucial round.
That's such an important rocket jump that he did from the mega health. That allowed him to get over to the heavy armor in time so that he could pressure. And of course, Clawz trying to jump onto the heavy armor, he couldn't do a thing.
Yeah, those are years and years of experience speaking on Rapha's behalf. He knows exactly how long it'll take him to get from one point of the map to the other, and he uses it well. He knew he needed that rocket jump. Here we get a little bit of a rail fight. No player can connect any damage for the time being. There is a bit of a delay between the two items, and that is really favoring Rapha right now.
He just knows exactly where Clawz wants to go, and Rapha's rockets are being tremendously effective. There we go, starting to see some of those rails from Clawz that we were getting in Blood Covenant. We've got a Flame Strike too. Rapha, oh, the rail still hits. Mega Health is about to spawn. He's still got fantastic control of totems up in the mega area. And heavy. Clawz needs to make a big challenge on this. Yeah, look at this. He's struggling. He's trying to jump down. He makes it in time, and the rail is missed. Finally, Clawz feels as if he's just been spared for a second.
Yeah, Clawz, one of the most important things that he needs to do right now is take care of those totems, because they are giving Rapha so much stack. I mean, he takes any damage, he can just back right up, and he's falling down.
Wow.
And he's chasing it. I don't think the drop down was all that intentional, but still he's making it work, and Clawz is stuck on low stack in that room, and he's still pushing in.
This dodge from Rapha, incredibly intelligent dodge. And as you said, it wasn't deliberate to go down to the bottom, but he's still managed to apply amazing pressure. This time he can't punish for the heavy pickup, but remaining alive, that is essential.
Yeah, and Clawz is still struggling with those totems, because Rapha has set them up so nicely. One more rail would do it though. Here we go. Can Clawz do anything? No, it's perfect range for the Tribal, taking oh so much damage in that situation. And Rapha is just sitting up here, perched up on that top level with those 3 totems ready to go. Heal him up whenever he needs it.
Rapha didn't want to go in to get the frag at all. He's at good position. Flame Strike's going to miss from Clawz. He's on about 40 points of health. Does get the heavy.
I just want to point out that Rapha at this point has 2k HP healed, and a very, very sizable portion of that came from his own totems.
Yeah, that is a lot. Clawz has just done nothing about it. He's finally starting to get rid of some of them. Can't get the rocket to rail to fully work, and he's on about 50 points of health. There's the line again, but rockets just connect in time. You can see that Clawz is just trying to force something to happen, and it eventually works.
Yeah, but can he get away now? Because he's still down to 36 points of health. If Rapha is quick as that Death Knight, he might be able to punish. Doesn't seem like he will though. Both players. One champion down, DK versus DK with 1 minute left to go.
I really still want to favor Rapha's DK because he's just been exemplary with this champion. It's a brilliant rail. Oh, the second as well. He looks for the Flame Striker. It's not going to land anything, and Rapha also popping off those fireworks.
Rapha, or Clawz rather, will take the heavy, and he's moving actually onto the mega health. This might be the first mega that he will take in quite some time, and he will actually just zone Rapha out of the item. If Clawz can get the frag right now, that would be so insanely good for him, because it might as well be sudden death at this point with just 20 seconds to go. Clawz looking in the wrong areas of the map, doesn't quite get to read right on Rapha, who is down there at railgun. Clawz actually taking a shot, yeah.
Well, the thing that's important is he's got the upper position, so he's going to want to maintain this for as long as possible. And I say that, and immediately Rapha spots the exact moment that he drops for heavy and is like, right, now it's mine. So there might be a small challenge.
Yeah, both players just got their abilities back up, so the flames are back on the board. We'll see if Clawz can make something happen. There we go, that's a good opening rail. Takes one in return though, but that won't matter as much to him as it does for Rapha.
I love that Rapha sticks around for the repeat. He's like, yeah, I know you're going to look for more damage, and while you do that, I'm going to get more damage myself.
Yeah, actually knocking him off that item, that's so good. There come the flames from Clawz and from Rapha. No damage for either. Oh, the rockets though, they're huge. Rapha, that would have been the kill shot. But here we go, this might be it for Clawz.
Oh, the rocket! Oh, the mutual frag right in the end, but the Clawz, he got it just in time as we were in sudden death. Rapha's going to felt robbed at that point, but he was just a little late on the trigger.
Yeah.
And we will get a round 4. Oh, here we go. We can watch that one back, and you can see it was just as the rocket met Rapha. He fired one off. Had that been half a minute earlier, it would have been fine.
Despite the win in that last round, though, I am still very, very concerned for Clawz, because despite that, it still seemed like Rapha had the better control and is playing this map better than his opponent. Still doesn't have LG or rockets, though.
Well, Rapha has got on the heavy side, I think, in terms of where his totems are. Clawz will have no rail, I suspect, at the beginning, but he has the mega part locked down.
Yep.
There is at the top. There's 2 totems on the exit, and Rapha's got to find a way in.
Yeah, Rapha, of course, such an experienced player. He's not going to make the mistake of going through that bounce pad, or the teleporter rather, just yet, and take that 150 totem damage that's waiting for him. And Clawz is just content with keeping control of that top area for the time being, but he still needs that railgun. I think he's probably going to make a move for it soon. These rockets are decent, but the nail gun damage that he's taking in return isn't half bad either. Good play by Rapha. I think he just went out there to take down those totems.
Yeah, I really think that Clawz needs to mix up ways, putting his totems, put one at the top of the bounce pad, because Rapha's surely going to use that position at Tribal to clear the way in case he wants to make an attack shortly thereafter.
And there is so little delay between the 2 major items that Clawz wasn't able to get from Mega to an angle at heavy in time. So maybe if he did what Rapha did earlier and gets a rocket jump in there, he might be able to still do a lot of damage and maybe even deny the item for Rapha. Clawz has got both of his totems up right now. Rapha only has 1, but he's got 1 stacked. He's ready to put it down.
Okay, he keeps the position. Look at this jump up from Rapha, just quickly stealing away the item. Armor will go back onto Clawz. There is the heavy. Clawz knows he can't drop down very easily. Going with the rockets. Oh my god, he doesn't quite land the damage afterwards. And now Rapha, he wants to push forward with the stack advantage, but the rockets are so good from Clawz. Lightning gun. Oh, the rocket at the end. He knew Clawz wanted to peek that angle.
Yeah, he read Clawz's aggression perfectly and knew that his opponent would like to go for some additional damage, and indeed he did, going for that fatal peek. Now 5 seconds to go till heavy, and then around 20 more to go for Mega. Clawz actually does have the stack advantage, and he is on DK right now. This could be bad for Rapha. Clawz picking up the heavy armor, but Rapha has got top control. Clawz showing, or Rapha earlier showing nicely how to deal with it though. Oh, Clawz coming up the bounce pad. So risky.
Well, he can clear the totem. What a rail shot from Rapha. There's still a few seconds until that Mega comes up. Rapha wants to challenge through the teleporter. That is going to be 1 more champion down for Clawz. If he can take down the Ranger, he is going to be on match point.
Yeah. Oh, knocking down Clawz. Clawz is going for it.
This is unbelievable. He's just trying to do anything he can. But,
oh man.
Rapha is a wall. He is 1 map away from being in a grand final. He has never reached a dual grand final in Quake Champion, so he has his eyes on the prize for now. And looking over at the rail, it is this time higher accuracy for Clawz with 50%, significantly less damage than Blood Covenant, but still about 2,000, which is impressive because it didn't feel like the rails had so much of an impact because of how much control Rapha had.
Yeah, it definitely didn't have as much of an impact as it did on the previous map, and now we can take a look at the scoreboard on stream as well. Actually, control of the items has been pretty similar, but Rapha dishing out around 1,000 more damage and landing most of his shots.
Yeah, it was a lot of those heavies that Clawz had to force his way onto. It feels like, I'm curious how much damage would have been done on the specific items, because Rapha had a good circulation going for a while with Mega and Heavy, where Clawz couldn't even challenge for certain periods.
Yeah.
So Rapha, again, I mean, this guy looks focused. This guy looks ready to not just win a semi, but to win a grand final. I'm really, really impressed by him. I know I said 3-1 to Rapha, and that you said 3-2, but we could be staring at a 3-0.
3-0 is definitely on the books. I mean, this is Molten Falls. It does have Rapha's one weak spot. It's got that one ledge at the small armor.
Rapha, he'll be trying to not repeat that.
He has
if
to
Clawz
be
can do that now, maybe that's the way to get into his head a little bit.
Yeah. Just a display of power, asserting dominance right away, just walking off the ledge right there.
So let me check. Where's the light armor spawn again? oh, it's there. You know what? I'll face the other way just so I can look at the edge. Maybe he's looking for some kind of safety net or handlebars on the side.
I don't exactly see it happening, but it would be epic, that's for sure, as we are about to move in to the, what might be the deciding game of the series.
Could be. We've got champions that are coming up. Maybe Clawz is sort of suffering without that Nyx, because it's been so important to his game before. And it could be a clue for him that he needs that champion pool more and more open, but if he can really get back landing those rails, but then finishing the job after hitting those rails, then that would be it. DK, BJ, Galena, and I think Galena again, we're going to continue with the mirror matchup.
Yeah, not that much variation in the champion picks this time around. It's going to be Molten Falls. It's a map with quite a few close areas, but I think it also has some of the most open areas in any dual map in Quake Champions at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see, because this might be a map that favors Clawz a little bit more, since he's got those rail angles to work with.
But again, he's got to keep those controls going of the hourglasses. He needs to make sure his just general heavy and mega control are good. I mean, Rapha's always seems to have a contingency plan, an escape plan of some sort. Clawz has got to be faster.
Yeah.
Let's get into it, though. It is map 3 here at the PGL Quake Champions Open. Team Liquid's Rapha versus Myztro's Clawz. We are on Rapha's point of view to begin with. Again, that Death Knight coming out.
Yeah, and Rapha immediately kind of trying to read his opponent, knowing that Clawz loves that LG, so he was just setting up on the lightning gun, trying to deny it from his opponent. Rapha doing a decent amount of nail gun damage.
He's trying to get the rail to fire and miss so that he can escape through the doorway. Oh, he didn't even have to in the end. Clawz. It looked like a shot he was definitely going to land. Maybe he switched weapon to get some spam out and couldn't get the rail angle in time.
Yeah, Clawz not landing the shot right there, and this isn't good for the Belarusian player whatsoever. Rapha got the Mega, might actually be able to get out of here relatively unharmed. Nope, I spoke too soon. Those rails, they hurt.
He still had the dual wield up as well, just at the end of that. We've got a push through from Rapha. We've got a couple of rockets left. Finally, Clawz is connecting with something. LG out. The totem having an effect, but with 4 health to go. Clawz, well, a 2-frag lead just a minute in.
Yeah, and he's got himself the Mega health as well. He knows that Hefty will be up soon. He's just going to go around. Not even going to go for the... Well, he will loop back around, go for the teleporter. There we go. First opening rail is solid. Second one connects as well. And the first...
What?
Oh my god. Clawz is back. This is a map that he's a lot more comfortable on than Vail.
Well, Rapha was really getting in his face a lot. I mean, it's like he's testing Clawz at the moment. It's like, all right, is your aim on right now? How much can I take advantage? If he got that frag at the beginning, which he's incredibly close to doing, you know, this round could have gone incredibly differently.
Yeah.
We'll continue with Clawz into round 2. He's got the Blaskovitz.
Let's see if he can make the comeback happen anymore, and he already has. LG will be going with Clawz with those flames together with the LG. Rapha trapping it perfectly, basically doing the same thing he did before, only this time he backed away further and then came back in with a vengeance and that flame strike.
Careful of that light armor, Rapha.
Yeah.
Oh my god, direct rocket. Clawz immediately has to shut up. Another rocket, he's got nothing. Rapha's just going to persevere through the flames.
Oh.
It's a good rocket from Clawz, but now he's only got Galena left, so... I mean, it took 1 minute for Clawz to get round 1. It might take a single minute or less for Rapha to get the second.
9 HP. Clawz is actually coming up.
He knows he's so weak. Clawz actually has over 100 health himself. And he's going to try and assert himself a little bit now.
Yeah, didn't quite follow it all the way through, though. He definitely could have finished it off, but of course, it is Rapha that you're up against, and you need to give him the respect that he is due. Heavy will be going to Clawz. I think Rapha heard that. I think Rapha was close enough to the wall to hear the pickup on that item. And now he's got Mega, and he's got the timing on Heavy. And Clawz only has one of those.
Looks like he's expecting attack at any moment. There he is. Laid eyes on him, but Clawz laid his sights and landing a rail.
Just one, though.
He's got to find a way out successfully. He decides, you know what, I'm going to counter this by just pushing. Clawz might not expect this, but he misses the rail. Clawz turns around, fires one between the eyes. He's got Blaskovitz now to go against, but his stack is good, so he's probably not going to be too concerned of the dual wield.
Yep, and at this point, Clawz already has one of his totems up. Might be able to string that into a second, and then the third one for the overstack. And he's got it set up quite nicely. Rapha can't really use the teleporter at this point, and he might be aware of that too.
Problem with putting 2 totems down is if they find them, then you lose all of the totems that you put up, and I think he's just found them there. Is he going to fire rockets at it? Yeah, he's just taken both of them down. So if Clawz separates them a little bit, at least it gets closer to building the sort of overstack healing. That might have to wait for another day.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision to make, because on the one hand you want that huge amount of burst damage if your opponent does come through it.
Clawz wants damage always.
Yeah, Clawz wants damage always, but I think he needs to be aware of who he's playing against. He's playing against the one and only Rapha, the master tactician of Quake, and he needs to be aware that his opponent will probably always see through those tricks and be so careful with where he goes. Rail fight will commence. Clawz missing the first shot. Rapha going for the dual LG, but Clawz maneuvering perfectly around that pillar.
Wow.
And finishing it off. Nicely done. And Clawz tying it up 2-2 in Champions. Looking solid once more.
That was really awesome from Clawz. He was denying so many angles of the dual wield that Rapha was spamming out, not hitting anything, and wasting ammunition, and then pushing him back down onto the bounce pad, just setting himself up for an easy rail.
Yeah. And here we go. This might be the deciding fight of this round.
Clawz doesn't want to commit just yet. He's found a couple of health bubbles. He's like, I can make myself a more 100% situation than this.
Yeah. And now Heavy is taken by Rapha. And Clawz cannot even do any exit damage whatsoever. This is going to be difficult for him if he wants to go for Mega Clawz. Yeah, is wisely going to back off this time around. Last time he did the same, but I think that was due to a bit of a mistake, since he put down the totem at 50 points of health, but it jumped away before he got the healing, so he had to retreat. That's a good rail, though.
3 damage, unreturned from Rapha. Totem's going to be back up in a second, and there it is. Finally, one of those totems landed, but he lands into another. He still goes for the rail shot. Totem back up to get over the railable stack. He can't do enough. Rapha, he could possibly even rocket jump up to try and finish the job. There's a rail opportunity. I can't believe Clawz is hanging around that long. That's absolutely insane to do.
Yeah, Rapha could have finished him off. Rapha had gone for the rocket jump, he would have gotten the frag right there. Almost guaranteed. Clawz has 150 right now. He still has a totem ready. Getting the healing off of it too. Clawz, get out of there. Clawz running for dear life. Can't go in a straight line though, because he's got to be careful of those rockets and those rails.
He's still going. There's an LG chase. Totem is going to heal him. He's got the 25 health bubble. Heavy now being taken by Rapha. He misses the rail, however. Looks through the teleporter. And Clawz is going to win the race over to the Mega Health. So we could get a turnaround in control, as Rapha's just not able to conclude that round.
Yeah, wow. That was so good by Clawz, because it definitely did seem like Rapha would get the frag right there. I really thought that Rapha would close out the round, but Clawz somehow managed to escape from a really, really bad position. And he's bringing it back too, landing a good rail. Another one, third one.
Yeah, of course, he looks like it. And again! How's he hitting these angles? They're such hard shots to hit, and it's just flawless for him.
4 vertical rails, shot after shot after shot. 1, 2, 3, and then
that's just
4.
Absolutely wild. And Rapha at some point has got to be like, dude, you've got to miss. It's like mathematically impossible for you to hit that many. Like, stop it. Stop defying the odds.
Quick look at the stats. 65% railgun coming out of Clawz, and Rapha 16%, having hit only 1 rail out of 6.
Yeah, and only 29% lightning gun as well. And I think that's really down to the sort of the LG play that he made with BJ. That Clawz is dodging so much. That really accounts for a lot of that reduced accuracy.
Yeah, oh my god, Clawz is playing like a madman, and he is making it work. Mega will be his to take. Rapha not pushing through, not gonna try and do any more damage onto that. And Clawz will finally get his hands on that lightning gun.
Oh, some great damage from Rapha at the moment. It's perfect pressure.
Yep.
He's got excellent amounts of control. Clawz taking it easy still.
Yeah, he needs to do that damage too, because if Clawz can get himself stacked up just a little bit more and take a fight at the perfect range of dual LGs, but Clawz has to be careful because the flames are in game, and here they come out.
Oh my god, I thought he was going to knock him out of the
I thought
map.
so too.
The 20 health was left for Rapha. It's surprising that Clawz did as much as he did, but there's the heavy. Major items exchange picked up at the same moment.
Clawz at this point has the stack advantage, but that rail will change that a bit.
And that's the flame strike as well for Clawz. He can go in and he tried to hit something. There's no fire dot damage, but again the chase through the teleporter and hitting the rocket afterwards. Clawz is expecting some form of respect, which Rapha is not giving.
Absolutely not. That was a beautiful play by Rapha. Clawz just completely misread where he would be, and he pays the price for it. 1 minute and 45 seconds in, and it is Rapha who is 2 frags up at this point. Clawz down to his final champion, that is that Ranger. Oh,
whoa!
That one almost sent him flying, and those flames are going to deter Clawz from pushing in any further. And I think that this is a very deliberate play by Rapha. He's trying to deny the 2 items that Clawz love the most, and that's the railgun as well as the LG.
Yeah, very, very smart from Rapha. Clawz now has the rail. He's not getting any damage, only receiving it, but you can fall back over to Mega.
Yeah, and now Rapha is still trying to deny that 1 item. Clawz did manage to pick up the railgun, but LG still is not in his possession. He will finally go and pick it up. Yep. And Rapha knows it takes a rail for his trouble. Shouldn't have peaked in retrospect. And now we're getting Mega first, and then there's around 7 seconds before the heavy spawns. Afterwards, Clawz sneaking up on him, landing the rail in the back, and he comes with the rocket jump. Nice read by Rapha, just looking for the damage, and he's getting it too. Mega will be going to Rapha, and he's making his way over to the heavy already. Now keep in mind, Clawz is the one who's chasing for frags.
Oh, there's a drop down. He goes for the flame strike. Clawz is weak, and just in the nick of time. He knew if that heavy was picked up by Clawz, then he actually has stood a chance of coming back in that round. A brilliant clutch plays here from the American.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Rapha is playing that one amazingly well and is starting to bring it back. Here we go. 4th round.
Yeah, we're following Rapha off round 4.
Yeah.
Again, Mega side for him, heavy side for Clawz. He's going to get a couple of weapons that he's more than fond of. And Rapha will eventually grab that railgun. LG potentially to follow, but just needs to establish some information on where the hell Clawz is playing from. There he is.
Yep, there we go. Clawz landing a good opening rail.
Ooh. Clawz is moving back. He's moving back into the angle and allowing it to do damage to him. So he either had to push forward and get stuck in and do some damage himself, or get the hell out of there a lot sooner.
Yeah, he lingered there way too long, took enough unnecessary damage to make it no longer worth his time. And now Rapha is setting up with the flames. Good thing for Clawz that that one didn't quite connect. And he's gonna go and drop back down. Clawz has got all the weapons, and so does Rapha. But Rapha has got the better stack, has got the better positioning, looking for some damage, won't find it just yet.
Clawz can't push through that corridor. Rapha's hoping that he'll make such a mistake where he can punish, and it's not to go on. Here's a drop, rail. It is going to land, and it's after the Mega health is picked up. So Clawz has got reduced overstack on health, and his armor's not quite full either. Oh, what a rail though.
Oh, but Rapha absolutely not backing down from this one just yet. Is even trying to bait Clawz into coming any further. Will land a rocket of his own, and now Rapha definitely has the advantage, and he's still holding on to his flame strike, still has that ability in his pocket, but so does Clawz.
He's looking above Mega. I wonder if he's going to try to go for both items. You can't drop for this very easily. Bit of rocket damage. Clawz, if he wants to go back for heavy, is able to. But it looks like he's happy to apply damage. That is so much LG. Rapha through the teleporter. Clawz, though, he's going to meet him up here. That rail could have killed Rapha. Up the bounce pad. He doesn't want to risk it. But if he can get an angle onto the Mega health, I think Rapha realizes if it goes to those 225s, he's in a world of trouble.
Yeah, Rapha definitely outplayed by Clawz in that situation. Clawz read him perfectly and just didn't even go for Mega, just went straight for Heavy, took it, and then looped back around for the Mega health. And right now, we're gonna see Heavy come up in 10 seconds, Mega around 10 seconds after that. But Rapha is still looking good. He's still got that Flame Strike, but Clawz probably spotted him, I think.
I think he has an idea of where he is. There it is. Rocket is going to hit a splash. That flame strike's not going to do anything. Rocket from above yet again, but the rail, he lands in the fire as well. Takes a bit of extra damage. And Mega's going to be up in 2 seconds' time. You can hear that ticking, hear the bounce pad, but there is still plus 75 that he can apply to his health.
Yeah, Clawz is going to be too late, will not be able to pick up that health. And I think bit of a mistake from Clawz going for the railgun shot at the very end there, seeing how low Rapha was. Shotgun, machine gun, anything would have finished the job.
Anything that he had time to hit.
Yeah. Right now, Rapha, well, stacks are basically identical at this point. Not anymore, now that Clawz will pick up that heavy. And is Rapha able to go for mega health again? He's got the shorter route, but there comes Clawz. Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet, not yet. We're saving that one for later. Still building this suspense.
I think he's up at Tribal.
I have to say though, we were having some concerns that near the end, well, this isn't really the end yet, this is only potentially the halfway point, but we're still already 3 maps in, and Clawz's aim is still looking sharp as ever, not showing any signs of slowing down just yet. Heavy will be going to the Belarusian, taking a lot of LG and a rail for his trouble. This is giving Rapha free reign of this side of the map. He will definitely be able to go for Mega. Clawz probably won't be doing anything to contest or get chip damage, and this is by far the slowest round we have seen between these two players.
Yeah, sudden large amounts of respect coming through. And I mean, even Rapha was playing fast before. He's happy to get in fights. You know, when he's got a good position, his rail can still be absolutely on top of the world. Now looking at Tribal. Clawz trying not to give too easy of an angle. There comes the flame strike, not going to hit. The heavy has been taken now, but Clawz looking for rockets, and he ends up killing himself. There's 45 seconds left in the round, and that is a catastrophic time to do that. But there's the flame strike, hitting nothing, but he should have the starting shotgun, but he misses everything. Rapha just dodges around it.
Yeah, 30 seconds to go. This is Clawz's make it or break it. He needs to find 2 more frags. Might get 1 here, but there we go.
No.
Rapha.
He's got 2 for 2 at the moment, so we are in a tiebreaker round. Rapha is giving himself match point.
Prepare to fight.
Yeah, Rapha, this might be him qualifying for his first dual grand final in Quake Champions.
3, 2.
Let's see how we get started on this round.
Starting this one off on Rapha. Date is getting the railgun. Heavy will be up for him as well, but he's again just rushing towards that LG, trying to deny Clawz that weapon at the get-go. Heavy going to Rapha. He still needs rockets. It's the final weapon he's still looking for. I think that we might see a slower game come out of Clawz again this time around.
The slower game didn't work from him is the issue. I think he's got to not be nervous about the situation. He's obviously got to establish at least half the control that Rapha has.
Yeah.
And then try and maybe push, be a bit more aggressive, a bit more proactive in looking for damage. He seemed like before that he was running just as much as Rapha was.
I agree, but I just don't know if he will. That's definitely what he should be doing,
Wow,
but Clawz...
He just froze there. That was easy damage for Rapha. Clawz he wasn't pressing mouse button 1 and shooting.
Didn't seem like it, no. Clawz, oh, the stress might be getting to him, and there comes the Inferno, the flames. And Rapha just goes right back up, picking up that rocket launcher, making it predictable what weapons his opponent will have once again. Yeah, one more rail.
But Clawz gets through the teleporter. Rapha doesn't want to walk into the fire himself. There is going to be the heavy armor up. He hasn't received enough damage. He needs to get onto that heavy. He's going to make it in time. Clawz is so weak. He could try to close it out right now. Is he going to risk it through the teleporter? He weighs it up in his mind for about half a second. He's like, no, I can wait. I can close it in a short moment.
Yeah.
And he just heard Clawz dropping down.
Rapha.
He can jump onto the Mega because he's got perfect timing of it, and this could be it. He's got the Inferno, doesn't quite land it. The rail, Clawz, he hits it in time, clutches it out, and the game is not yet over.
That one could have gone either way.
Another rail, oh, he misses the shot. That almost would have got the kill, but the passive healed him up. Now the nail gun, he's going to find it up the bounce pad. 9 health left, and it's going to be the nail gun landing onto Clawz. Rapha. He's made it through.
Yeah.
He's got himself to a grand final at a dual LAN.
What a game, what a game. Rapha, 3-0 though. I don't think that's what anyone was expecting. You called the 3-1. I called the 3-2. And then our wonderful host.
That was just super convincing, actually.
Oh yeah.
From him, I'm massively impressed from Rapha, because Clawz puts on so much pressure. And you know, when we were on Blood Covenant, we saw, dude, he's hitting 60% rail and over 3,000 damage.
Yeah.
How does anybody play against that? I couldn't think of a player, and then Rapha's like, actually, I can.
Yeah, Rapha.
I know how to do that.
Rapha has the answer. He knows the tactics, and he knows exactly how to approach a match like that, and he does it with style too. 3-0ing what is the self-proclaimed best Quake Champions player in the world. I don't know.
Oh man, don't burn it now. That's harsh. That's harsh.
I don't know.
Let's leave it a couple of days before we remind him. But you know what? I'm sure he'll find another chance to prove himself. But this time he's been bettered. It's the first time that they'd ever met each other on LAN.
Yeah.
He said at the beginning of the tournament that he was really hoping they'd get a chance to play with Rapha at some point. And this was it. It didn't go in his favor, but I'm sure there's a lot of learning for Clawz. But that's a lot of winning for Rapha, because he's now finally got a chance to do something like he's done in Sacrifice, like he's done in 2 versus 2.
Yeah.
A top 2 at least finish in Duel.
Absolutely.
And I think, Flea, we can introduce our belated
special guest.
Special guest.
The most handsome man in the room.
Second.
The man who predicted wrong.
Love your pins.
Love my pins. I wish I could say the same about you. No. I'm over Flea, I love your pins.
Oh, thank you. The non-existent ones that I don't have yet.
The imaginary ones.
Knicks
The
pins.
imaginary ones.
Yeah, the Knicks, exactly. But what a series, honestly. Like that was nonstop action. They were constantly fighting against each other. But I think one thing that really stood out was the lack of ability for Clawz to deal with that Death Knight out of Rapha.
Yeah, I mean, just the ability usage from Rapha in general, with all champions, is just exceptional. And he's definitely capitalized on his skills with Death Knight throughout the playoffs, and I think Clawz felt it here.
I think if anyone wants to see the best way of how you rail in Duel, they need to watch back this entire match as well. Rapha and Clawz both having some insane plays. Clawz on Molten Falls, hitting the quad rail over and over and over and over again from Super Shotgun. That was just ridiculous. And as I was watching the series, everyone was talking as Clawz took the first round. It's like, yeah, okay, well, Rapha's just downloading him. Letting that round go, just trying to figure out what path he wants to take to deal with Clawz. And he found it, and he did it. And he was punishing Clawz for the most part, I would say, with the aggression he used.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's nice to get to see it from Rapha's point of view right there.
Such a sick angle.
Oh, and that shot too. That's one that I wanted to see as well. Very nice place.
I loved this bit from Clawz, actually. The way he dodged the dual-wield LG, and he didn't fear, he didn't flee out of the room at all. He just stuck with it, and I mean, he made look Rapha for a very brief moment in time mediocre. And these rails are tall as well. That was unbelievable. And I think Rapha's face at the end of that that we saw live was just, how?
Yeah.
In what world?
There comes a point where you're like, he has to miss a shot.
Yeah.
And then that changes into, why isn't he missing the shot that he's supposed to miss?
That's always been Clawz, right? He randomly misses the easiest rails in the world, and then when it comes to the most difficult ones that no one by any right should be hitting, he hits 4 of them.
I think it might have shaken him a little bit on Blood Covenant, because his rail was on fire, and right at the most important part of the game, he stopped hitting. He missed 4 or 5 rails in a row, which could have possibly won him the map or put him in a favorable position. And as soon as Raph said, oh, you're not hitting rails, then I'm going to do it. And his rail accuracy was just as good. He just didn't fire anywhere near as many.
Yeah, well, speaking of the man, we actually do have Rapha here on the line. Just give him a real quick call here. Rapha, can you hear us?
Yes, indeed, I can.
All right. Well, first of all, congratulations. You have now placed into guaranteed minimum of a second placing here, and also double your money into this one. And also, for the most part, you get further than you've done in Quake Champions in a dual tournament.
Yeah,
How does that feel?
Dude, it feels great. Between all the different metas and grinding with the game and practicing, I'm really glad with the amount of hard work that I put in the last 2 months. That since QuakeCon, it's really paid off. I've known even at the other tournaments that I didn't place as well. I was literally just small, super minuscule moments away from turning games around or literally taking the series. So I knew not to get down on myself and get depressed about losing and placing worse than I expected. Just got to keep going for #1 and just keep putting in the work and believing in what my game plan.
And you did say to us in one of the interviews, I think it was just yesterday, that you get better as the tournament goes on. Does that mean you're going to win the whole thing?
I mean, I hope so, but if I meet Cooler, I said the same thing about him. So, who knows what's going to happen between Cooler and Kilson here, but I definitely feel like I was playing some of my best Quake today. I've faced two of the toughest aimers in the scene back to back, and I managed to come out on top. So hopefully I can just keep riding this momentum, that I can stay focused and keep the energy high. And because games like that where it's super tense, like what was it? The second to last round there, where you're like super low on health and you're having to do everything that you can to come back. It takes so much mental fortitude and energy to do so. But that's why I love playing in tournaments like this, like the taxing and stamina that you need to show to be able to play that and be the best and to win at the end of the day.
Before I let Flea and Zoot ask you some questions, honestly, I want to sit here and take the whole half hour in this one. You talked earlier on about Sirius, your game plan. You had it ready, stay out of his mid-range, play close, play far away. What was your game plan coming into this against Clawz?
I definitely, again, I think he is one of the best Nyx players, just like Sirius has shown through this tournament, so that's why I chose to ban Nyx. And I felt like I could probably do a better job of dancing and playing around the Death Knight range and or like, you know, the BJ range of LG, just depending on what champion I'm facing. I just needed to play him accordingly, and I knew, like, from his style, like, he'll give me a few shots because he's looking for more, because he believes in himself. So as long as I, you know, make that into, like, false confidence, if that makes sense. Like, try to make him feel like he should hit a shot, but then, you know, deal the damage and then be able to back off onto the rest of the items, so that then he's actually at worse for wear, even if we traded. So that ended up working out, but as you can see from some rounds, like, kid hits 4 rails in a row. Like, I hit some crazy ones on Blood Covenant too, but, you know, there's no reason to get frustrated against a player like him. Just at some point, that kind of kill is going to happen, and you just have to deal with it. You just think about, you know, just problem solve. What is the next thing that I can do to try to get back in the game? Don't dwell on what just happened. Just, you know, like when he hit me with 4 rails to roll there on Molten, I was like, all right, that was sick. That's all I could say, you know? Like, what can you do?
Yeah, well, how do you deal with it otherwise, though? Because even on Blood Covenant, I think that Clawz hit around 3,500 damage with just the railgun, which is more than some entire duel matches that we've seen in its entirety. So how exactly did you approach that rail?
I tried to only take, like, rail-to-rail fights that I thought I could deal with taking the damage from, or I would try to, like, get in that range of Tribolt and let him try to rail, but dish out enough Tribolt damage so that it's, like, really risky for him to go and push in for the kill, and vice versa. So just trying to, like, play around that, win the war of attrition, and eventually, you know, find him and close in on him and get a kill, and then try to play with the lead.
In terms of how you went into the game, you clearly had a strategy and it worked out as you've got the victory. Were there any adjustments you had to make along the way? Because we ended up seeing a lot of mirror matches as well. Did he do anything to surprise you that you had to spend a few moments going, actually, how do I deal with this?
Yeah, he actually got control of Molten with Galena a lot faster than other players based off of his totem usage. And so I had to actually, like, slow down and take, like, long routes to try to clear the totems, they like the Tribolt Telly and some other stuff, because he was constantly controlling high ground that way. And we all saw how good he is fighting from shotgun. So I kind of don't want to let him fight there, is what I noticed, like, throughout the middle of that map. And so I tried to make that adjustment and tried to control it more often than he did, and it seemed to work out.
Okay. Following up on that question, one more thing. On Vail, a lot of us were expecting you to pick the Keel. Any reason in particular why you didn't go with that champion?
Yeah, I think just based off of his skill level, I just felt like mirror matching was the right move on that map, just going with Galena, Ranger, Death Knight, and I picked Ranger over Keel because of the orb's mobility. Like, there was for example, there was a fight where he was at the, like, I don't know what to call it. It's quad in TDM, but he's at quad and he's dropping onto me at nail, and I knew he was going to go all in, and I orbed out, like, I threw the orb, but then I clicked it and it didn't take me. I must have pushed it like 0.1 seconds later. So I know, like, sometimes, like, he'll overextend himself. So that's why I chose Ranger, to be able to reposition with the orb, or, like, catch him in chokes, you know, for big burst damage or just area denial, because I know sometimes he looks for more damage in tricky places that other players don't. So that's why I chose him, for the mobility over the stack and the burst damage from Keel. I really like Keel a lot, but I just felt Ranger was the right pick.
Okay, well, last question here before we do obviously let you rest. Cooler, Kilson coming up next. Who do you think's going to win, and who would you prefer to see in the finals?
Man, I have no idea who's going to win. They are both playing lights out today. Kilson was playing really, really well against Dehang. And he was playing really well earlier today in the quarterfinal as well. Actually, no, sorry, that was the only match. My bad. Yeah, I was a little tired here. I'd say I'd probably give Cooler the edge, like 55-45, just because how well he's actually been. He's been baiting damage and then taking full control of the map. And a lot of players haven't made the right decision to be aggressive on an item, like after he takes it, to try to trade their life and break the cycle. And I think Kilson can do it, but it's whether he'll adjust enough in time during the course of the set. But yeah, so I give Cooler the slight edge, but it would be no surprise if I face Kilson in the finals either.
Do you have a preference of the two who you'd like to face?
I mean, I think it would be.
I know they're in the room
Cooler,
with you.
Yeah, Cooler would be the one for, like, you know, history's sake, how many finals that we've met up and how great that they've been. But I faced Kilson in a final once and I lost on the 5th map, so it would also be nice to kind of get that back. We've played in other portions of the bracket before, but never the finals again. So, so for me, either one, I'm definitely motivated and fired up to try to win.
All right, well, Shane, thank you very much, and congratulations once again from getting through to the finals. Take a rest, and obviously get your download going on here before we get underway with the final.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Now, we do have, out of our 3 remaining players, only one of them winning a dual tournament in Quake Champions. It's Kilson, and he's up against Cooler. I don't want to go too much into it, but give us a little bit of a taste of what you think's coming up.
Well, this is going to be a great match. I mean, Kilson has been playing out of his mind. He's looking so confident, beating the Hang earlier. But Cooler on the other hand, taking out Toxic, that's also quite a feat. He has been looking amazing. His aim, his positioning, his plays. Cooler has just been a very solid package so far.
I'm wondering who's going to have the better rails, actually. I'm not messing with you on the rockets at all. Kilson's rockets have been brilliant. But honestly, Cooler's rail that he's brought to LAN has been outstanding. So I wonder who's actually going to get the better end of it. It's going to be a mental match either way.
Well, speaking of rails, Zoot, we do have to head to a break. But for your break, while we do get ready for the next semifinal with Kilson and Cooler, a little montage for you of the big gun. It's the rail.